Suddenly, a chamber started to open. My own team started to think that maybe.
For more than 2,000 years, one question has refused to fade into history. Where is Cleopatra's tomb? Not how she ruled, not how she died, but where she was laid to rest. Cleopatra VII, the last pharaoh of Egypt, vanished in 30 BCE. Ancient writers claimed she was buried in a tomb fit for a queen. Yet no map, inscription, or surviving record ever revealed its location. Generations of archaeologists searched the ruins of Alexandria. Others combed the Nile Delta. But every expedition ended without any result. Then something appeared when scientists began using modern methods. Beneath the sands west of Alexandria, instruments detected structures too precise to be natural. When excavation began, what emerged was not just a tomb, but a mystery carefully hidden from history itself. So what is it? And how is it linked to Cleopatra? Let's dive in. The queen, who outsmarted history, Cleopatra VII, ruled Egypt from 51 BCE to 30 BCE during one of the most dangerous periods in its history. She was born into the Greek-Macedonian Ptolemaic dynasty, descendants of Alexander the Great's generals. Yet unlike her predecessors, Cleopatra embraced Egypt fully. She grew up in a dangerous court filled with rivals, betrayals, and power struggles. To survive, she trained her mind. She learned the Egyptian language. She worshipped Egyptian gods. And most importantly, she presented herself as the living embodiment of Isis, the goddess of magic, rebirth, and divine authority. To her people, Cleopatra was not merely a queen. She was sacred. When Rome threatened Egypt's independence, Cleopatra used intellect and strategy rather than armies. She aligned first with Julius Caesar, then with Mark Antony. Together, she and Antony ruled vast territories, blending love and power in a way that terrified Rome. But Rome ultimately won. After Antony's defeat, ancient accounts say Cleopatra chose death over humiliation. She used the venom of a cobra, her own royal symbol, to end her life. Cleopatra controlled her final act, and that control may have extended far beyond her death. The lost tomb. Roman historians agreed on one point. Cleopatra was buried beside Mark Antony in a royal tomb. They described it as magnificent, carefully guarded, and hidden from enemies. No coordinates, no temple name, no inscription to guide future generations. For centuries, scholars searched based on assumptions. Most believed her tomb had to be near her palace in Alexandria, the heart of her power. But Alexandria itself turned against that idea. Earthquakes shattered districts. Floods swallowed entire neighborhoods. Much of the ancient city vanished beneath water and ruin. Yet archaeologists refused to give up. They dug beneath modern foundations, explored submerged ruins offshore, but they couldn't find anything. Outside Alexandria, the desert offered no relief. Temples were explored. Tombs were opened. None bore her name. Some even wondered, was her burial destroyed by Rome or hidden deliberately? 2,000 years erased landmarks, shifted coastlines, and buried paths under sand. But then another question emerged. What if Cleopatra never wanted her tomb to be found? The overlooked clues. West of Alexandria, near the edge of Lake Mariot, stands an ancient site called Taposiris Magna. The temple there was built to honor Osiris, the Egyptian god of resurrection. Long ago, it stood on fertile land, surrounded by fields and life. But over the course of time, the landscape changed. Centuries of rising water and shifting coastlines slowly consumed the region. What was once solid ground sank. Paths vanished, leaving fragments where a sacred complex once stood. For many generations, these ruins seemed ordinary. Visitors and historians passed by without paying much attention. And that's exactly what happened for nearly 2,000 years. But recent studies revealed a different story. The landscape around Taposiris Magna had changed dramatically since Cleopatra's lifetime. The terrain itself had rewritten history. For someone wanting to hide something, this place would have been ideal. Cleopatra understood symbolism, secrecy, and control. A shifting landscape of water and ruin would protect what armies and guards could not. Modern technology also supports this view. Scans beneath the sand revealed unusual patterns, long, straight lines and formations that could not have been created naturally. Something had been placed here on purpose. Something that was finally about to be revealed. The search. In 2005, a Dominican archaeologist named Kathleen Martinez arrived at Taposiris Magna, carrying a theory that few experts were willing to entertain. Martinez believed Cleopatra was never meant to rest in Alexandria. Instead, she argued that a queen who portrayed herself as Isis would choose to be buried near Osiris, god of death and resurrection. Taposiris Magna was not random ruins. It was a temple devoted to Osiris himself. At first, few believed her, but clues kept appearing. Ancient texts suggested Cleopatra spent her final days near this region. Artifacts found at the site combined Greek and Egyptian symbols in deliberate ways. Coins with Cleopatra's face were discovered among ritual offerings, carefully placed rather than left by chance. As excavations progressed, walls emerged covered in inscriptions. One detail was impossible to ignore. Two languages shared the same sacred space. Egyptian hieroglyphs honoring Osiris and Isis stood beside precise Greek text. It reflected Cleopatra herself, Greek by blood, Egyptian by faith. Inside the temple, altars showed traces of blue lotus resin and embalming materials. Over 300 coins with Cleopatra's image were uncovered. Some showed her alone. Others showed her with Mark Antony. Their placement was deliberate. These were not random offerings. Then instruments detected something even stranger, a faint rhythmic pulse beneath the temple floor, repeating every 42 seconds. In Egyptian belief, 42 judges oversaw the dead in the afterlife. The timing of this seemed intentional. The temple was not silent. It was waiting. The hidden tunnel. In 2022, Kathleen Martinez and her team made a discovery that stunned archaeologists worldwide. Beneath the ancient temple at Taposiris Magna, they uncovered a tunnel carved directly into solid limestone, hidden for more than 2,000 years beneath sand and stone. The tunnel stretched over 1,300 meters, nearly 2 meters high, and ran with astonishing straightness. Its walls were smooth, its alignment exact, and its construction so advanced that modern engineers compared it to contemporary tunneling methods. The tunnel descended gently toward the sea, passing beneath terrain now submerged by Lake Mariout. Along its walls, researchers found traces of resin, fragments of pottery, and carved ritual markings. One thing became clear. This was not a service tunnel or drainage system. It had been built for ceremonial use. Within chambers branching off from the main tunnel, archaeologists discovered mummies fitted with golden tongues. At the tunnel's end, instruments detected a sealed hollow chamber behind stone and mud brick. When it was opened, ancient air poured out. At the center stood a massive black granite sarcophagus carved from a single block and sealed with resin and lead, materials reserved only for the highest status burials. The carvings were a mix of Egyptian and Greek styles. Inside lay two bodies, wrapped in gold-threaded linen, positioned side by side. The female figure wore an Isis pendant. Around her wrist coiled a cobra bracelet, the royal symbol long associated with Cleopatra. The male figure showed unusual embalming signs, his chest cavity filled with resin and mercury, a rare ritual substance. Yet every symbol suggested a union meant to last beyond death. Cleopatra and Mark Antony, together, but the chamber held another passage, and it led somewhere even darker. Final warning. Beyond the sarcophagus chamber lay a circular room carved with impossible precision. 36 skulls lined the walls, 12 men, 12 women, 12 children, each facing a central stone platform engraved with the Ankh, the symbol of life. Their jaws were missing, their bones dusted with gold. Inscriptions read, "They guard the passage and keep the balance." This was not a burial. It was a ritual. The same rhythmic pulse detected earlier grew stronger here, vibrating faintly beneath the floor. Some researchers reported pressure in their heads, others refused to remain inside. Martinez examined the platform and said quietly, "This isn't a tomb. It's a mechanism. Something lay beneath it, something sealed on purpose." As news of the discoveries spread, the academic world divided. Some believed Cleopatra's tomb was real, hidden in plain sight through symbolism and secrecy. Others argued the site was something more, a ritual complex designed to protect a secret, not a body. Cleopatra may not have been preserving only her remains, she may have been guarding her legacy. Despite years of excavation, no official confirmation has been made. The tomb remains unproven. The mystery remains alive. But one thing is certain. Cleopatra planned her final act with the same intelligence and control that defined her life. Cleopatra was never just a ruler of land. She ruled stories, symbols, and memory itself. 2,000 years later, her name still bends history toward her. No other queen vanished so completely and remained so present. Whether her body rests beneath stone or beneath myth may not matter anymore. What matters is that she chose how the world would remember her. So, what do you think? Did Cleopatra truly disappear, or did she hide herself so perfectly that history is still chasing her? Let me know what you think about this in the comments below. If you liked this video, ensure you give it a thumbs up. Also, consider subscribing to the channel if you haven't already, because we will be uploading more crazy stories like this one in the coming weeks. Until then, see ya!